Allow Apelele to guide you through your morning banking experience right here on African Bank Radio.
Travel Thursdays on Humanity Rise.
That's right. It's a Thursday. It's 9 o'clock. Time to travel. We are speaking to Tebogo Pinpin, the talent behind Western Cape Experiences website, a travel blog that provides fellow travelers with all the best insights, tools, and information needed when visiting the Western Cape province. He's a South African, Cape Town-based award-winning content creator, travel writer, travel planner, a certified essay travel expert, destination host, and a digital marketer. He runs a digital marketing agency focusing on the local tourism and hospitality industry. Quite the mouthful there, Tebogo. Thank you so much for your time with us this morning. How are you?
I'm good. Good morning, Afela, and good morning to your listeners. Wow, listening to that is a long list.
Yeah.
And I just remember now. Every time people ask me, "So, Tebogo, what do you do?" I never know
how to answer
how to
swiftly
because it's a whole lot of things that I do. But now I'm good. Thank you very much for that introduction.
The next time someone asks you, "What do?" you just say a bunch of stuff. A lot. Say a lot. So maybe let's dial it back, Tebogo. How did you get into the travel space? So what really tickled your interest?
Growing up, I'm not sure if you still remember Buputatswana.
Yes.
Yeah, so I'm a Buputatswana baby, so my dad was a police there.
I see.
And we used to travel a lot. So as a private investigator, we used to stay in different places around South Africa.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's where the love started.
Yeah.
And since then, since my teenage years, I've never found myself in one place for a long time.
Oh, wow.
That's why I even left home when I was 17. Then I've been staying in different provinces. I've stayed in all. I've been into 9 provinces, stayed in 6, and I decided to settle here in the Western Cape. So I think that's where the love started.
And what made you decide to settle on the Western Cape? I mean, I'm from the Western Cape. I'm from Cape Town, to be exact. I love it, but I don't know if I could live there. So what made you decide that the Western Cape is where you're going to settle?
So most of the people, when they think Western Cape, they think in Cape Town.
Yeah.
Which is something I also used to think about.
Mm-hmm.
So now, having that opportunity of traveling other 8 provinces and comparing it to Cape Town, I feel like the Western Cape just took a little bit of every province and then made it into one. That's what people sometimes will say. Western Cape feels like a country on its own.
It does. It really does.
So for me was every year visiting Cape Town and doing the usual touristy stuff like Table Mountain, Robben Island.
Yeah.
I feel like there's actually more things that people could see, not only the usual stuff. So that's when I started doing research and visiting over 100 towns around the Western Cape. And I've written a book about 60.
Oh, my goodness. Wow. I'm very keen on exploring that book because, you're quite right. Whenever people think of the Western Cape, people think about just Cape Town. They go to Cape Town and that's it. There's so many other places worth exploring, the Paternosters, the Hermanus and all of that.
That's the question they always ask. Are you not getting bored being here in Cape Town? I'm like, guys, you thinking Cape Town? I'm thinking Western Cape.
Absolutely.
Like now I'm talking to you, I'm at a farm in the middle of the forest in George.
Oh, wow.
But when you say to someone, I'm in George, you're already thinking, okay, the beach somewhere, and I'm far away from them. I'm in the mountain in the middle of the forest. I was even worried about the network.
Connectivity.
Struggling between 1 and 2, and 2 bars.
Yeah.
I had to drive down the mountain so that I can catch a network.
Let's talk a little bit more about that. I mean, it sounds like you're living a charmed life, Tebogo. The life stuff, the life dreams are made of. And when you speak about these gems, what are some of the things that you would love people to know are places that they can visit? I mean, like you're saying, George, immediately I started thinking, oh, okay, the beach. But you're saying, no, you are at a farm, a very remote place. And I would imagine that it's also quite lovely. But what are some of those surprise places that you love telling people about that not many people know about?
Like, for example, number one, people think only traveling is supposed to be done during the summertime.
Yes.
And I always say that, there are places that you look at that they are out of your budget. But when it comes to winter time, like establishments, tour operators, activity operators, they need the business.
Yes.
Now they can even go up to 50% discount. That's where you start traveling. So during winter time, you don't stay at home. You actually hunt for those discounts.
Yeah.
So that's what I do. And people think, you're always traveling, so you're probably getting all these things for free. I'm like, guys, most of the time I pay for my own travel. So people think you just travel for free. I'm like, I get businesses from traveling. So like, for example, I will pay for my own travels. I'll go and sit there. If I enjoy the place and I love it, I'll write and tell people about it.
Yes.
Now, other establishments are looking at what I do, and they will approach me and say, "Oh, we loved what you did with accommodation 1, 2, and 3. How can we do the same thing? Let's collaborate." That's when you say, "Okay, this is my rate card. This is how I charge."
Nice.
And you make money from there. You reinvest into your business, and then again, take portion of that money, you travel again, you go somewhere. That's how it works.
You're quite right about, travel really being associated with the summertime and sunshine and beaches and all of that.
Yeah.
And many people miss the opportunity of winter travel because, like you're saying, it's off peak, so the rates are more favorable. So what can you share with us in terms of what to do in the Western Cape in the wintertime?
First thing that comes into my mind is the whale season. So
Yes.
winter time is the whale season. That's when the whales come, and you can even do whale watching, just standing right by ocean. So number one is whale watching, and then number two, because winter season in the Western Cape is not that really cold, but it's a rainy season. So that's when you start seeing the greenery and you see the beautiful waterfalls that you can explore.
Yeah.
So those are the two things that come up in my mind.
Yeah.
Beside the discounts and other things that you can do.
For sure.
Whale season, and exploring the waterfalls.
Yeah. And also Cape Town is also viewed as a very, very pricey city to visit. I mean, I observed a conversation recently on social media where people say, going to Cape Town, if you're a family of 4, you might as well go to Thailand because it's so expensive and it's prohibitive for a lot of people. What can you share about those perceptions?
I've had those discussions,
Yeah.
and I'm going to tell you exactly what I always tell people. As soon as you plan a trip to Cape Town and you go and you search on Google, and then pops out travel agencies, and you book through them. Sometimes even myself, when I do my research and I check accommodations around Cape Town or things to do around the Western Cape, it gets so scary that if I was not in the space, I wouldn't even pay those amounts. My friends paid 5,200 last month just to do the wine tour. I'm like, guys,
Oh, wow.
wine tasting is 65 rand.
Yeah.
No, and then there was a no because they were going to pick us from. I said, you hired a car. You could have driven there 65 rand to do that.
Yeah.
So they call me the Western Cape plug. So people, what they do before they even, I think I'm their Google now.
Yeah.
So they will call me and say, Tebo, we are coming to Cape Town. What can you suggest? And most of the time, I share a lot of information on my Instagram and on my blog.
Yeah.
So when you do your research, the first thing that pops up on Google, don't just book from there. Do your own research.
For sure.
Then most of the time, go on Instagram. If you like a place, go on Instagram and see who has tagged that place and see what they say. Even if you send them a DM, what was your experience? How much did you pay? Some people are very friendly in giving information.
Yeah.
I know some people, they will not give you that information, but I think you rather do a proper research.
Absolutely.
And then it helps when you have somebody like me. I answer my DMs on daily basis. Yeah, so you just have to do your thorough
Absolutely.
research. And then also,
Yeah.
I'm sorry to cut you there.
No worries.
And then when people come to Cape Town, they need to ask themselves, okay, I'm going to Cape Town. What do I want to see? Do you want the chance? You don't necessarily have to go to Camps Bay or Clifton. You mentioned Paternoster. You can go to Paternoster and get probably a bigger beach house than the one in Camps Bay or Clifton and pay a fraction of that amount.
Yeah.
And then when you share, it becomes cheaper. You can
Absolutely.
go to Langaban. There are so many places, all the way to Aniston. And the prices you pay, you will not believe. And the nice thing I like about these small towns, food, portions are huge.
Humongous.
And the price is so little when compared to when you do things in Cape Town.
You know what I love about Cape Town is that sometimes you actually don't even need to have a full itinerary of, activities. You can literally jump in the car and drive to Stellenbosch and just do wine tasting in one farm and another farm and another farm. Or you can just simply have a culinary holiday, because I don't think there are restaurants that can beat Cape Town and the Western Cape, So just hopping from one restaurant and just having a full culinary experience is activity enough. Do you agree?
Yes, yeah. I've got, even on my blog, I've got 32 unique activities that you can do around Western Cape. I've excluded all the popular ones. I've just decided to put 32 of people that I think they might know.
Nice.
Now, you're mentioning something very important, because last week was Joburg was cold.
Mm-hmm.
So I saw on the story on Instagram, this lady said, "Yo, guys, Cape Town, Joburg is cold, but luckily Cape Town is also cold. Tebogo, what do you think?" And I said, yes, I stay in Cape Town. Cape Town is cold, but let me show you something. I'm going to drive 30 minutes away. I'll send you a picture.
Mm-hmm.
I drove 30 minutes away. I went to Constantia. It was bright and shiny.
Oh, wow.
I sent a video. She couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
And I said, yes, even in the middle of winter, you could drive 45 minutes away. You can still go and swim in the beach.
Yeah, and have pockets of happiness. I love Cape Town.
Exactly. Yeah.
So Tebogo, how do people get to experience everything that you share, all the gems that you find, all the different activities, like you're saying, that people can try out if they find themselves in the Western Cape? How do we follow your movements?
Okay, number one, they also start with my Instagram account, Tebogo_pinpin.
Mm-hmm.
And then my blog is Western Cape Experiences with an S at the end, .com.
Yeah.
So everything that I share there is free.
Okay.
And then sometimes if you just want to ask me something quick, you can just drop me a DM, I'll respond. But if you need a full itinerary planning or a travel planning to the Western Cape, that's when I charge a consultation fee of $650.
Okay.
Now, the nice thing about it, when you pay the $650 and you book everything through me, your $650 becomes part of your booking.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because
I love that.
I don't get paid from clients, I get paid from the suppliers.
Yeah. Okay,
That's
love that.
That's how I make my commission.
So quickest way, Tebogo_pinpin on Instagram, and you can take them through everything.
Yeah.
Stunning.
That's what I do.
Wonderful. Tebogo, let's leave it there. Really, really enjoyed my chat with you. Thank you so much for your time. And I look forward to checking out everything on your Instagram and maybe just getting some few tips myself because you know your way around Cape, Western Cape.
It's going to be amazing. This week I'm reviewing two beautiful properties, one in George, one in Sigama, that I'll be starting to share with people next week. So that might also be of interest.
Looking forward to it. Have yourself an excellent day ahead.
Thank you very much, Afilere.
Thank you so much. The talent behind Western Cape Experiences website, travel blogger, travel writer, planner, certified SA travel expert, Tebogo Pinpin. Do find him on Instagram, like he says, Tebogo_pinpin. 13 minutes now past 9.
Travel Thursdays on Humanity Rise.